unmute. Okay.
We can go ahead and get started, Dan.
It is, it's 5:01. I'm gonna, 5:02 now, gonna start the meeting. Could I get a roll call, please?
Christy,
Present.
Dan,
Present?
Eric,
Present.
James.
Present.
Could I get a motion to approve the absences, please?
I'll make a motion to approve the absences of Andrew Grayson and Dana Underwood.
I'll second the motion.
We'll do a voice vote on that. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Luis, would you read the disclaimer, please?
Yes, I just have to pull it up real quick, sorry for the delay. Okay, Chapter 16, Section 22 of the City of Kalamazoo Code of Ordinance states that historic preservation is a public purpose. To serve that purpose, the Historic District Commission is hereby charged with the following responsibilities. A, the Kalamazoo Historic District Commission is empowered to regulate work on the exterior of historic resources and non-historic resources in historic districts in the City of Kalamazoo and shall otherwise have all powers invested in historic district commissions pursuant to the Local Historic Districts Act, MCLA 399201, and 1970 PA 169 as amended in 1992. B, to regulate work on resources which by city ordinance are historic or non-historic resources located within local historic districts, including but not limited to the moving of any structure into or out of or the building of any structure in an historic district. The following documents are available in the Community Planning and Economic Development Department located at 245 North Rose Street. These documents will help assist property owners in understanding the responsibilities of owning property in a local historic district. MCLA 399201, 1970 PA 169 as amended 1992, which is the Michigan Local Historic District Act, the Code of Ordinances of the City of Kalamazoo, Michigan, specifically Chapter 16, the Historic Districts, Secretary of the Interior Standards for the Rehabilitation and Guidelines for Rehabilitating Historic Buildings, Standards and Guidelines for Kalamazoo Historic Districts, and Maps of Kalamazoo Local Historic Districts. These documents and maps are also available on the City of Kalamazoo website at www.kalamazoocity.org/historic preservation. There's no additions, but there will be something that's struck from the agenda this evening. I'm looking at the wrong agenda as well.
Question, do we have to approve Dana's end of term or anything like that, or that just happens?
No. So what just happens?
Do we have any guests that are here tonight that need to be introduced that aren't on the docket? All right. And any public comments on anything we're talking about tonight? All right. Could I get a motion to adopt the formal agenda, please?
I will move to adopt the agenda as written for, what's today?
19th.
19th.
Seconded.
March 19th.
Could I have a voice vote on that, please? All in favor say aye.
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 Thank you. Let's see. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting, please?
I'll move to approve the minutes from February 2024.
Seconded.
Awesome. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, and then moving on to the application reviews. We're looking at 723 McCordy first up.
And again, just for the record, so we all know, as I stated earlier to you guys, since we only have quorum present tonight, unanimous votes are needed for approval of anything. So it is the applicant's choice, and at their discretion, they can choose to proceed with the application this evening or postpone it to when there are more commissioners present, just so everyone knows, and that's on everyone's mind before we proceed.
Great. Hi, I'm Peter Barnard. I'm the owner of 723 McCordy Street. It's a house that we purchased for the purpose of rental. Currently, the house has 3 stairs going into the back of the house, and there's parking in the rear, a shared driveway, and what we're hoping to do is put together a 5-foot by 5-foot platform on the back, so that as renters come in, bringing in groceries, that sort of thing, they can put the groceries down before they open the door and go into the house. What we want to do is make the overall look and appearance consistent with historic standards. So the ladder is what we've been calling it, the ladder staircase kind of design. The 5-foot by 5-foot square would go straight down. The stairs would go straight down, and again we'd follow the stair patterns per the historic district. So really, it's really intended to be a safety issue more than anything else. Because right now, as you exit the house, you go down to a first step, and then 2 others after that. So that's what we're hoping to do.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions?
Just, I would assume then you won't have any handrail on it because it's low enough that you don't have to require
yeah,
that.
thank you. We should have a handrail on it. It's about, I want to say 30 inches.
On the stairs themselves, but not the deck.
Well, I think we'd
wait.
like to have a handrail on both sides all the way up, so that you have the ability to grasp one way or another.
Yeah.
What we do want to do, and I spoke with Luis about this, we'd like to have the stair rail be 36 inches high, which I know is taller than historic standards, but given that it's not right on the street, we're kind of looking at it more as a safety issue than appearance issue. Although the design would be the same as per the historic standards. Thanks for that question. Sorry.
Well, and it would be differentiated from the rest of the house, the rest of the property, because it's in the rear and because it's an addition to, so the 36 inches doesn't bother me at least. I had a question though for you. What material would all this be constructed with?
Per the standards, the seat, I can't remember exactly, what the treads and the risers need to be, but we'll follow the historic standards for that. So, cedar, it's not going to be, now I can't even remember the name of the product that's not wood, the non-wood
Okay.
products, but it will be cedar.
And at the rear of the property, you are allowed to use pressure treated if you'd like to. If your prerogative completely, and I think that the cautions that I always have with folks when they want to bring up using pressure treated is that just you make sure that the wood cures or dries out, obviously, before you go ahead and fasten things down so you don't get any warping. Also just wanted to say that there is a rendering here, and sorry, I think through scanning, some of the resolution got lost, but this is not
Yeah.
the house, but this is an approximation of what it would look like. Also wanted to say that Peter spoke to the ladder style, and that's usually what I refer to for the handrails, where the spindles of the handrails are actually, I don't know how to put it, but in between the top and bottom rail, not fastened to the inside or outside. And as he stated, that's per the Historic District Standards and Guidelines for the City of Kalamazoo.
Great, thank you. If no one has any more comments or questions on it, can I get a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the application for the addition of a rear deck as it complies with the interior standards 1, 2, 9, and 10.
Thank you.
I'll second that motion.
All right, could I get a roll call vote, please?
Christie,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
James.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you
So
so
that
much.
Thanks very much.
Pass for you, Peter, and I'll be in touch with you about the end of the week.
Sounds great. Thanks.
Thank you.
Great, now we're moving on to 114 West Vine Street.
Hello. We've got a pretty simple request here, 114 Vine. This is a property that KNHS owns, and we're getting ready to rehab with some city federal funds. And as part of that project, we are lead abating the full property, and we're looking to replace primarily the second floor windows, but there are 3 on the first floor at the rear of the home as well. Looking to replace those with wood sash packs, so they'll be the same opening size, not changing any of the trim. same, pretty much exact same look is what's there right now.
Okay, great. Does anyone have any questions for him?
Assuming these aren't vinyl?
No,
The
wood.
wood window.
Yeah, wood windows.
Yeah,
Mhm.
just, I don't have the,
Yep, no problem. Yeah, wood sash packs.
Awesome.
Aluminum clad, correct?
Mhm.
Yeah, if that answers all our questions, can I have a motion to approve?
Working on it. All right. I will make a motion to approve the work as stated in the application as it complies with Secretary of Interior Standards 1, 2, and 9.
I'll second that.
Thank you so much. Could I get a roll call vote on that, please?
Christie,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
James.
Yes.
Awesome. So you pass, and I'll get in touch with you by the end of the week, Matt.
Awesome.
I also just want to say that, this property, I think, is one of our textbook examples of the prairie style in Kalamazoo. It's really a gem of a house, and it's especially interesting to see it in Vine, where so many of the other houses precede it, So, like I stated in my report, the upstairs windows do not necessarily lend themselves to the style, so I think that it's great that you guys were still trying to keep those downstairs windows in place too, and keep the style of the property. So I think that was appreciated with this project as well, so thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm looking forward to completing the project. It's going to be, keeping everything inside the way it was, so be beautiful.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Thanks so much. All right, we're moving on to 519 Stewart.
Hey, how's it going? Today I'm hoping to just replace one window, same kind of window, which is a Stuart Anne, Queen Anne. Same design, wood window. We're not doing any vinyl. Only reason we want to replace it is because it's stuck. It's also rotting, deteriorating, and just for the sake of a fire hazard, there's a tenant in the room, and it's their primary bedroom window. So, just hoping to replace it with the same style, same look.
Just some more background on this one too. So I went out and visited with Alex at the property. We went upstairs and looked at it together. It's a casement window that's on the second story. There's a ground level picture of it, and you can see right there. There it is. Thank you, Casey. When I looked at this window, it was super interesting to me because it almost looked like each of the sashes, one of them had been turned inside out from the other one. So I think that work had been done on them at some point, and maybe someone put it back in a different way, and who knows when. And it was hard for me to determine the age of this window as well. It is on the north side of the face and north side of the building, and the building's front faces east, so it's not on the front of the building either. Just for some additional background on that one for you.
Yeah, appreciate that. Thank you.
So it's over the driveway, correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, like back driveway, back left. I think I don't really want to pry at it because I think if I mess with it, I'm afraid the window's just going to go down and break, and then someone is going to be really cold until I get a new window in there. So just trying to take the right procedure going at this.
The size of the opening will stay the same and everything? you
Yep,
said?
we're hoping to just do a slider, but same size, which is 43 or approximately 44 by 28.
A sliding wood window?
Yep.
Correct. Do you have any plans to prevent the new window from experiencing the same deterioration?
Well, they had a storming on the inside and out, so we're just hoping it would be screened in from front and then we'll also do storming on the outside. But I mean, it's almost 120 years old, so it's rotting, and been messed around with. So
My thing that comes to me too when I think of window replacements in this capacity there's a reason behind this being replaced. There's deterioration on the window that's happening. I think that there was some faulty installation at some point on the window along its life because there was glazing on the inside and there shouldn't have been. And I think that the third thing that I think about with this is, again, is this a character defining window to the style of the home? When I was looking at, Queen Anne houses and kind of doing some research, casements are not generally something that jumps out to me and says this is something that definitely defines the property of, or the qualities of the property. Secondarily, when we're looking at a window replacement, I sense the window is not opening anymore. It leads me to believe, well, there's probably something going on with the shape of the frame right now, which is not allowing it to open. Because when I looked at it with Alex, it wasn't painted shut, which is usually my first thing. Hey, is this window painted shut? So taking it out, I think there's also going to be something in looking at, do we need to shore up the frame again? And if we do, then does it make more sense to move on to a replacement that's going to reasonably replicate the existing window or fit and not detract from the style of the opening?
Mm-hmm. Thanks for the insight. If no one has any questions or comments, maybe a motion to approve, please.
I'll move to approve the work as it complies with Secretary of Interior Standards 1, 2, and 6.
Seconded.
Casey, could I get a roll call vote, please?
Christie,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
James.
Yes.
Sorry. By the end of the week, and we can talk about next steps. I'll get the paperwork over for you, and we'll keep moving from there.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you. And then also as well as for the payment for the application fee.
Yep, I'll send you the link to it. Sorry, I didn't send you that before.
You're
but I'll get
okay.
that over.
All right, thank you.
Yep,
Thanks
thank you.
so much. All right, we're moving on to 218 Monroe.
Hello.
Hello.
My name's Andy Davis. I'm old school construction, and we have a situation where we have a sunroom in the back of the building that has been there for a while, but is not part of the original construction of the building. It was itself an addition. From the look of the construction, it appears to have been a sleeping porch that was then converted to a 3-season, which was then converted into a 4-season. And the existing windows are wood sash, but they've all deteriorated. The frames, the sills, they all need to be pulled out and replaced, and that is what we're proposing to do. And the window style we want to use emulates exactly what's currently there. It's just going to be in a more durable material, a wood sash with aluminum clad, white, and in the same casement style and as what's currently there. And we're going to the aluminum cladding in order to reduce the amount of maintenance. The owners are elderly, and they want to try to reduce the amount of exterior painting that's required on an annual basis. I think that encapsulates what we want to do.
Yeah, a couple more things that I want to say about this. As you stated, Andy, this sleeping porch is not original in any capacity to the building, or this porch that we're referring to is not original in any capacity. And furthermore, the windows are certainly not original construction style of windows that are existing here now. They are double pane insulated windows, so it's not like we're taking away something, or there's not a proposal to take something away from the property that was original to it. So I just wanted to clarify that for them as well.
Thank you.
And then also some trim work, correct, that you're looking to do as well?
Most of the trim is all existing wood. It's also in deteriorating condition, and in order to get the windows completely out, we're going to take all of that off, and in the process, almost certainly degrade that material further. So we're just going to completely replace the trim package with a trim package that looks almost exactly like what we see today.
And again, in my conversations with you at the site, that stuff had been redone recently as well, correct?
Yes, that's
Recently,
apparently,
so.
right.
Yep,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Just so you guys are up to speed on that too. Thank you, Andy.
Are you planning on cladding your casing with aluminum as well, or that's going to be a wood finish?
No, just the window sashes
the window
themselves.
itself.
Yeah.
And I saw in the application that you're looking possibly to use AZEK to replace the trim.
If it's possible, I like to use AZEK on the freeze board, on the very base at this point. There are shrubberies all along that, and I've been doing historic restoration in Kalamazoo for nigh on 40 years, and then that is just the point of contact with the environment in these situations where everything goes to heck, you know, and it's like, that's where, if you can, and if we can use a material that's non-degradable on that first piece, particularly going around, that'd be, I think it would be a superior application. Mirtec also works well, and is emulates more of a rough wood appearance. However, in this case, we're going to be using the smooth sides out because we have a smooth appearance. My other material of choice is southern cypress.
Which I see in Luis's notes that if it were cypress, you wouldn't need our approval for it at all. It's just really the approval of the AZEC material.
Yeah, so that's completely up to you, whether it can meet your standards.
If I can it sounds reasonable based on my experience too, what you're talking about. I don't know if that's matching necessarily with the standards that we have to go by to
True, you may have to
approve.
make it would almost certainly be an exception in my understanding of what, in order to,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, and that's the only place where I have a hang up, to be fair to other people who have come before or will
Sure.
come after.
Yep.
That's my only real concern, but I know exactly where you're coming from, and that, like you said, that's the place that's going to that's where all the snow sets, that's where the water sets,
Yeah.
that's where you get your beginnings of deterioration.
Yeah.
That being said, I don't know if
The cypress,
can.
the cypress works pretty well if you back prime all surfaces
That's
and
right.
use the deep penetrating oil-based primer. You know,
But even with cypress, it's not the cypress that we got 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's
in my opinion, there currently is no natural material that's readily available on the market for any reasonable cost that will maintain itself in perpetuity in those conditions.
So I'm weighing lots of things here as I look at your application. You know, I think that trying to preserve the historic looking, or the new replacement windows, that's also part of the goal that the AZEC would help achieve.
Well, the AZEC would be almost invisible because it's
right, but it would prevent future deterioration around the new replacement, is what I'm saying.
No, because my proposal for the AZEC is just along the base where it's close to ground contact material, and the rest of it would continue to be wood.
Okay.
Yeah, so I wouldn't want to use AZEC as like trim material around the windows themselves, but primarily just to have that flexibility, particularly on the base where we have almost those ground contact conditions.
Understood. Thank you for that clarification. And it sounds like we're unsure if this sunroom is original, but likely not original to the property.
Yeah, this iteration is certainly not original to the property. From what I looked at with Andy when I went out there, the windows being double paned with the insulated glass in them was not something that we would have had historically to use. So we're not removing materials that are, again, character defining or historic to the property. After looking at it, that's what I concluded.
And given that it's in the rear of the property and that it would just be on the ground, I think an exception would be reasonable in this case, just my opinion. For use of the AZEC as opposed to the cypress.
How high up would the AZEC go from the ground?
Approximately 10 inches.
Okay, thank you, that helps. I mean, I'm feeling similarly, slightly conflicted, however, given that it is in the rear and likely not original, more open to this replacement.
Yeah, I would say if I was not sitting on a historic board with regulations that dictate my decision, I would say 100% that's the way to go in this case.
Luis,
I do have some concerns, and I'm not sure which way to lean on that, just like I said before, what happens in the future.
In this situation, because each case is individual, because it's not original to the building, we're not violating anything by approving that material, right?
No, so my understanding of this really is, and I didn't include Secretary of the Interior Standard 6 because I don't find anything property that we're looking at to be character defining necessarily to the property. If we were looking at like a covered portico on the front of the building, even if it was non-original but it had been there for a while, it would be like standard 4 and standard 6 that it could have gained significance in its own right and it could have been character defining. Again, I'm making suppositions right now and they're hypothetical suppositions because that doesn't exist, but all of that being said, you know, replacing these materials with AZEK, which I believe is a paintable material, correct?
Correct.
And using the smooth face out, which is what is being proposed, would reasonably replicate the wood that exists. It's also only being proposed for application in places that come in direct contact with the ground, which is where things would be susceptible to the water damage. The rest of the pieces of wood that would go up on the trim would be wood, so they could be, you know, milled or whatever you need to do to them to make a, again, we'll always say reasonably replicate, but reasonably replicate the existing trim on the property. That's why I looked at 1 and 10. 1 is kind of a gimme always for these because we don't have many where people are like, I need to radically alter the property to make these changes, but, and I'm not 10, 9, because the new alterations on this, it's already a new existing porch. It's going to be differentiated from the old through the use of things like the double paned windows. To me, the AZEK is almost non-discernible, especially once it's been painted. It still could be differentiated, though technically. It's kind of where my head was at when I was writing the.
And my point I was trying to make before is that it appears that using this material in this one case would also help to preserve some of the more historic features, or the features that are more in line with the property.
Yeah.
So I would be fine with that in this case.
Yeah. I'm in the same boat. Like it's not a original part of the house. And it's in the back, and you know, like per your point, I don't think it colors our view on past or future decisions in the situation. But yeah, would anyone be willing to put it up for a vote or make a motion?
I'll move to approve the work as stated in the application as it complies with Secretary of Interior Standards 1 and 9.
I'll second.
Thank you. Could I have a roll call vote, please?
Christy,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
James.
Yes.
All right, Andy, so it passed for you, and I'll be in touch with you by the end of the week as
Thank you
well,
all.
and we can get the paperwork done then too, so.
Yeah.
Thank you all
so
for your
much.
flexibility.
Yep, thank you, Andy.
We're moving on to 266 East Michigan.
Oh, so 409 is next on the agenda.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
The applicant reached out to me that they're not planning on building a new porch at this time, so I need to speak with them. They want to do a patio, which would be landscaping, which is not subject to our reviews, but I need to see what kind of stairs are going to be proposed for coming onto the back. So I'll keep you guys all up to date on that as we move forward with it. It's kind of a last minute thing, so no harm, no foul, but it'll be off the agenda for tonight. So
Okay, great.
No.
A happy accident here, just
No.
skipping over it. So.
not a problem.
All right, yeah, 266 East Michigan.
Good evening. Good to see you guys all again. Yeah, so heard the comments last month. So sorry, that's a little loud. Heard the comments last month, and so been in touch with Luis and followed up with the specifications of the actual windows and the materials, and provided like a pretty detailed document there, and then a spec sheet from the window manufacturer. So they are wood windows, and happy to answer any questions. So
Yeah, so that was the main question we had was like, yeah, what the material was, and so like they're aluminum clad wood, is that what they are, or are they just totally
correct.
wood?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Very similar to everything across the street.
Yeah.
I don't know the picture that will show it, but yes, they're wood. They're wood windows. So,
Okay.
and they're the Anderson 400 series windows. So,
the size of the new windows would be the same as what you're taking out?
Yep, they're all custom to the original openings.
And so this is the one. It doesn't look like I included your cross sections in here, so I apologize. I don't know if you guys wanted to see cross sections, but we can pull them up if you guys think that cross sections would be helpful. I think this is probably the. See, it is zoomed out, but these do have the window schedules on the bottom that state what window they are. Like you said, the 400 series Andersons, and it shows them in these are updated drawings. They probably look similar to last time's, but these are the ones that show what the proposed windows would look like.
There's a lot more detail in there than those last month, so.
Yeah, let me just start by saying I really appreciate you coming back and taking into concern what our thoughts were, and you're moving forward with the project in a sensible way, but you
Yeah,
know,
no, I
really
appreciate you
that,
guys,
so.
I appreciate you guys listening to me, so we're excited to, nobody wants an empty building, so let's get people living in there, so.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it pretty in depth in the last meeting. Does anyone have any comments or questions? And if not, then what, you have a couple?
Public comments on it.
Nelson, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, sir.
Yeah.
If you could speak at the.
Nelson Nave. Andy can also talk about this, but I was the last architect that worked on this, I don't know when it was, 15, 20 years ago. And all the windows above the first floor in the front were built new, wood. And Andy had something to do with that. So I just wanted to tell you that.
Oh, that's awesome.
I don't know if they've rotten since then, but I don't know. I haven't looked at them. They were falling out when we replaced them, so.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. That's always great to get more insight, and like, I haven't been on this board forever, but, seeing the same projects, age out a little bit, it's interesting to see how, time keeps marching on. Back to.
I'd be interested to hear what Andy has to say, as he was the installer and he could.
I thought you guys were gonna be mad at me. Matt O'Connor. Nice to meet you.
So,
I'd
I
love
wanna
to hear the
talk-
history. We'll talk
So,
about Holly.
1999, Rock Bartley, myself, and Scott Spink were contracted to completely renovate the Coney Island building. And we started in the main floor. We renovated the downstairs, first time since 1959 that place was renovated. And then there was downtown historic restoration cash available for tax abatements, and we pulled out every window from the face of that building and recreated them to exact standards, to their original construction methodology, right down to the wooden pins we put back into we built them exactly how they were. And so those windows were built in the year 2000. And we even rebuilt all the true muntins on those 9-foot wide windows on the top floor. Those are all brand new. That's not a restoration. That's new construction. So I'd have loved to know what you guys are going to do with them, because if you're going to get rid of them, I want them back.
No, I think a lot of the, we're going on a tangent here, but I think a lot of the problem has been,
They're all built with cypress. Those are all constructed out of cypress.
totally understand. I just, part of it's the vacancy and the roof deterioration from the guy I bought it from, and so yeah. We want it to, I want to preserve the history of it, but there's some stuff that's got to get.
I'm just curious what you want to do.
Yeah, so.
First I've heard of it.
Okay, well, let's talk.
So then, what an awesome, interesting meeting. But, we're going to make a motion whether or not to approve it, but perhaps, you should, guys communicate and get together. And maybe there's maybe you don't have to pull all of them. It'll save you some money and, save, and you'll end up probably, if if these guys built it, I'm familiar with their work, they're top-notch,
Yeah.
craftsmen. So, yeah, could be
Yeah, we can certainly get you.
great situation.
Yeah, let's meet. No, I don't think that you are. I initially thought you were, but I don't think you are, so.
Just to step in real quick too, because I know that not everyone's familiar with reading blueprints, so if we have more questions too, the tops are the drawings that are going to show what it'll look like in there. You can stay on this one, sorry. Oh, yep. And then the bottom is the window schedule for them.
One more comment. The facade, the first floor facade on the left side, the east side, is all new. There used to be a modern shoe store front in there from the 60s or 50s. And we rebuilt that to match where the Coney Island is exactly. The columns are made out of pipes, and I know there's a lot of stone on the front that is deteriorating, but that was patched back then. So the patch is coming off. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks so much,
And
Nelson.
Thank you, Andy. And I think it's good for us to know too that the windows aren't original on there. And thank you guys for explaining that to us as well, that they were reconstructed 20 years ago or 24 years ago. And if there's questions about some of the specifics on the proposed windows, the bottom right down there, and Casey, if you need to, we can go down there, and it shows the colors of the things and everything that's being proposed. So that's where all the info is. So. You don't have to if you don't want to. If someone has a question.
All right, well, does anyone want to make a motion?
Your turn.
Yeah. What number is it? It's 4 and 3. Is it
129.
Well, I would move to approve the installation of the new windows as it complies with standards 1 and 2. I don't think there's anything else I need to add to that, other than I do appreciate what I said before. Yeah, move for approval. That's my motion.
I'll second the motion.
Thank you for that. Casey, could I have a roll call vote, please?
Christy,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
James.
Yes.
All right, Matt, so you got approved,
you.
and I'll be in touch with you by the end of the week as well. So,
Okay, thank you. I really appreciate all your help and Luis's help too. So.
Yep, not a problem.
So, thank
Thanks
you.
for coming in.
All right. I think that concludes all the applications we're looking at tonight, right?
Yep.
Is there anything I should do before I get a motion to
Yeah,
conclude the
that's
meeting?
what I wanted to add in my motion was, based on the information of last meeting, that they were rotten and they were deteriorating, which there seems to be some. But anyway, that I was.
Yeah.
So I will open it up because I know that there's some more members of the public, and I know that we don't have a public comment on non-agenda items, and I don't know if there's anyone that wanted to comment or have anything to say. Okay. And then I can just do my report stuff real quick, and then we can move on to the adjournment portion of the meeting. So not a very exciting agenda report, but I do just want to remind everyone that the Michigan Historic Preservation Network is going to be in the city of Kalamazoo. And I guess this goes to everyone here, but the Michigan Historic Preservation Network will be here from May 8th, May 11th. For those of you sitting up here on the dais, the Historic Preservation Commission has been kind enough, kind enough, I think that they are very kind, to pay the way for all the members on this commission as well as their commission to be able to attend that. So that passed last week at their meeting, so you guys don't need to worry about registering for it or anything. I will take care of anything regarding that, and then I'll disseminate all the information about that via email. So I know that we all have jobs and there's stuff that might get in the way, but if there's events at night that you can make it to, or if there's stuff that you can make it to, I think it would be really great for you guys to get out there, MHPN is a great opportunity to see that, a great opportunity to understand like what problems do we have that are coming up across the entire state with preservation, and then what are some of the things that maybe we have unique that are here in the city of Kalamazoo that other communities don't have. Just a great chance to be able to network with folks and kind of just shoot the breeze too and say what's going on in different places throughout the state. I always think it's super valuable, so I hope that you guys can at least make it to some of the events. I'd set up the budget for this, so some of the tours you guys would have to pay for by yourselves if you wanted to go, but some of the other things have been paid for you, and I will share that all out with you, and the brochure is presently up on mhpn.org too, so if you ever wanted to look at that, feel free. That's always the biggest thing, and I know I've been harping on it for a while, but last year it was in Mackinac, the year before that was in Holly, so it's a great opportunity. This is as local as it's going to get for us, I think, truly. So would love to have you guys come, and I'd love to have people in the crowd come as well if they are available too. It's kind of the biggest thing that I have by way of my report. The other thing are just some of the reviews that we've had. I neglected to put on what they were, so I can bring that next month. I don't know why I neglected to put that on there, but the number of reviews that I put on, the addition is wrong. So we've had 18 total, 1 administrative without another permit requisite, like a building permit or sign permit, 7 with permits. Off the top of my head, there's nothing that jumps out to me, and they've all been things like repairs to porches and roofs. Roofs are a very big thing that come through for me, and like maybe the installation of gutters, and then we've had 10 hearings this year, so we've had quite a few hearings. You know, this was a heavy meeting this evening as well. So I think that's it. Thank you all for being here on this nice evening as well, but that concludes my my report.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm excited to see, go to as many of those as I can.
Yeah.
Motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn the meeting.
Second that.
Could I get a roll call vote on that?
Christy?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Eric?
Yes.
James?
Yes.
Thank you. The meeting is adjourned.